Yesterday, he was awarded the Johnny Unitas Award, which was given to him over at the Babe Ruth Museum. He was talking a little bit about the decision of coming to LSU with the group.
Yeah, so it really come down to, this was a time when I was kind of doubting myself, and my dream always had been to play in a national title game. It wasn't to get drafted and go to the NFL. I wanted to play in the national title game, and, I kind of was deciding between some schools not of LSU's caliber, and I was like, do I want to go there? Can I really play at a place like LSU in the SEC? And I said, screw that. I think I'm going to have faith in my abilities, faith in my preparation, and my hard work, and that's really what made the decision for me.
I mean, think about this. There's an alternate timeline out there in the Black Mirror universe where Joe Burrow is the Cincinnati quarterback. I mean, wasn't that what it was coming down to at the end? My man was deciding between Cincinnati and LSU. And he took the road less traveled. He took the harder path, and it ended up paying dividends. But it just everything in retrospect, when you look at where you are now to where you were, what could have been, it's just, it can really make your head spin the more you think about it.
One more from Burrow last night talking about what it was at Ohio State that made him think he wanted to get out.
Absolutely. I didn't know if I was going to ever play at this level. Obviously, 3 years sitting on the bench, you start to question a lot of things. Kind of forgot how to play football a little bit. I lost my pocket presence a lot because in practice you're not getting hit. You still work in the pocket, but you're not feeling that pressure like you do in the game. So it took me a while to get back to what I had been used to doing in high school and in scrimmages and things like that. So I was definitely questioning my abilities every once in a while, but I just stayed true to who I was, knew I put the work in to get to this.
Yeah, so if you watch the awards that are going to be given out tonight and you watch the David O'Brien National Quarterback Award be handed out, your 3 candidates there are Joe Burrow, Justin Fields, and Jalen Hertz. What do all 3 of those guys have in common? They're transfers. And I think that's important to highlight because when you look at a college football player, and I know I've talked about it in the past, but what is the single most important resource that you have? Your single most important commodity, if you want to say whatever, your payment, it's playing time, right? That's why you run all the 110s in the summer. It's why you lift year round. It's why you do the 10 a.m. Saturday practices. Everything is in pursuit of playing time. Not only is that the last chance that you'll ever get to play football again in your life. Because you know how it is, like when you get done with football, you don't ever actually get to play football again.
Right.
You can play flag, you can do whatever. It's not like basketball or baseball where there's adult leagues. You will never play football again. And so these college years, it's your final opportunity to do so. And so I have no problem. And it's also, if you're a guy with NFL aspirations, it's literally the only way to get on the NFL's radar and make that jump to the next level. And so I will never fault a guy for leaving and trying to find that playing time if, he gave himself a fair shake and it just wasn't working out. And when you look at these 3 guys, it's hard to criticize any of them for the decisions that they made.
I mean, I'm looking at these awards that they're handing out tonight. Burrow and LSU should clean up. I mean, that's the only reason why I can come to a conclusion that Derrick Stingley Jr. was not awarded the SEC Freshman of the Year, the award that went to Bo Nix. I mean, the support for Stingley coming out, not only from LSU people, but people from around the league. Nick was pointing out this morning that there's a Texas A&M wide receiver who's like, man, y'all missed it on that, not giving the Stingley kid from LSU the Freshman of the Year.
Yeah, and I mean, I think they just have too many awards, quite frankly. I like how Mo Hampton said it on Twitter, where he basically said, damn, Sting, you played so good, they forgot you were a freshman. Because that's what it felt like at times this year. And then you got Cody Worsham tweeting out, which I thought was pretty effective, the stats of Bo Nix against Derrick Stingley, and it was 2 of 10 for 50 yards, no touchdowns, 1 pick, and an 8.3 NFL passer rating. So, yes, we all know that Derrick Stingley should have won it. But to your point, Jordy, Biletnikoff tonight, Jamar Chase after that, Maxwell and Davey O'Brien. You got Burrow up for those. I don't generally know how those work in relation to the Heisman. Like, do you give them to the other guy, or can you get the clean sweep? And then the Jim Thorpe, which I would not expect Grant Delpit to win.
Like, Stingley should win that one.
Yeah, I mean, he did lead the SEC in all statistical categories, but
I'm looking at the PFF rankings of college football cornerbacks around the country, and he rates number 1.
Yeah.
On the biggest stages, in the biggest games, they tried to go at him.
Yeah.
I mean, other than the Alabama, which would deem, I guess, success from Stingley's
Devontae
standard.
Smith's a beast too.
He is.
One of them was a trick play, but yeah, the Alabama got him a bit, but it's going to happen, man. You're out there on an island. You got the elite of the elite testing you week in and week out.
I think LSU cleans up tonight. I think that obviously that Burrow takes home the award on Saturday night, and then you start to really dial in and prepare for the national semifinal.
So you mentioned the PFF rating of Derrick Stingley, where he is the highest graded cornerback in college football. Well, do you know who the highest graded football player in college football is?
I mean, if it's not Joe Burrow.
It's Joe Burrow. Burrow
It better be.
has a 94.3 grade this season. For reference, Justin Fields, 91.9. Hertz and Lawrence, 91.5. And this article that I was referencing, I'll link it in the huddle on Twitter. Somebody sent it to me on Twitter. I wish I could credit who it was, but I cannot remember. It was a few days ago. It's a PFF article. It says how Joe Burrow and the LSU offense went from unknown to unstoppable. And it gives you some fascinating numbers. So I'm going to try to break these down and make them easy to digest. What do we always talk about with quarterback play? It comes down to two things, right? Accuracy.
Decision-making?
Accuracy and decision-making. That's it. Those are the two main things. You can have arm strength, whatever. As long as you can just make the throws, accuracy and decision-making, that's it. Well, speaking of decision-making, I don't know that Burrow improved in an area more than that one. Last year, he was not good on his reads. He stared down his first reads. He tried to force it a lot. He had one of the highest rates of turnover-worthy throws in the nation as far as starting quarterbacks goes. This year, and this is great. So this year, when throwing to his second read, so this is after he's working through his progression, he sees the first read is there. When throwing specifically to the second read on the play, Joe Burrow is the highest graded quarterback in the nation. He's the highest passer rating at 142.5. He's averaging 11 yards per attempt in those situations,
which might be the most impressive number out of all of them.
And then an accurate pass rate 14% higher than the next closest quarterback. Think about that. 14% higher than your next closest peer. That is a significant gap.
Because of how impressive the completion percentage is at 78%, which, as you said, is one of the two stats that you look at, or one of the two qualities you look at in a quarterback that really defines the position in talking about being able to throw it at an accurate rate and your decision-making. He's not just dumping the ball around the line of scrimmage.
No,
he's not just throwing the ball to the flats. He's not throwing the ball around the out routes. I mean, he's pushing the ball down the field, as you said, an 11 yards per attempt average is as impressive as any numbers he's put out.
And so why it's important to talk about those second read stats is a lot of times it's easy to say, oh, well, it's all just scheme. And yes, the scheme plays a heavy part in that, but it shows that the success is more than a coach doing the thinking for him. It's not just a coach manipulating matchups where, oh, I just gave my quarterback, I put him in the right position. He just did what I told him to do.
Cut half the field.
Yeah, no, this is Burrow. And there's still probably elements of that, but this is still him working through his progressions and making good decisions. It's not just the QB not having things. So there's your decision-making numbers. How about this on accuracy? And this is where Burrow's been spectacular. I mean, I look at the first touchdown throw to Chase last game, which is when you see that sky cam view, you are blown away by where he put that ball.
Breeze type throw.
It is. It's a pro throw.
He puts it to a point, and the guy just runs into the ball.
It's a pro throw. And this is something that my old man used to always talk to me about. I mean, the windows you're throwing into in the NFL, we're talking 6 inches. Like, that's how accurate you have to be. Well, when throwing into tight windows, PFF breaks this all down. When throwing into tight windows, he was the highest graded quarterback in the nation. He threw 20 touchdowns. 20 of his touchdown throws have come into tight windows. That is 7 more than second place. Think about that. That's a significant gap. He has a passer rating of 116 when throwing into tight windows. Second place, Jordy, is 95.
Wow.
116 to 95.
He's lapping the field this year.
Hey, so straight up. His adjusted completion percentage and accurate pass rate, once again, is 8% higher than second place. So there's the decision-making. There's the accuracy. Now, let's talk about time. How do you scheme Joe Burrow? How do you attack him? Well, these numbers show how you are truly damned if you do and damned if you don't. And I thought this was really highlighted in that UGA game. If Burrow has over 3.1 seconds to throw the ball, so you want to hang back and play coverage.
Which on that first Jamar Chase touchdown, he had 9 seconds.
He had 9 seconds, right? Exactly. If Burrow has
Flag
over
football.
if
It's
Burrow-
stealing. That is stealing. I mean, like, that's stealing.
when he has over 3.1 seconds, he is the second highest graded quarterback of all time.
Wow.
Since PFF started measuring these things.
Wow.
Only Baker Mayfield in 2016 was better. He averages 14.2 yards per attempt. That is a full yard over the second place quarterback. Okay, so he's great if you give him time. Well, what happens when you pressure him and you get him out of the pocket? And this is where it gets even maybe the craziest. When forced out of the pocket and forced to scramble, he is the nation's highest graded quarterback once again, and has an accurate pass rate 13% higher than second place. In fact, if you look at his numbers under pressure and compare that to the rest of all of the starting quarterback of college, all of them, and look at their numbers when clean, he exceeds 84 of those quarterbacks' clean pocket grades. As PFF states in the article, quote, calling this insane is an understatement. And I will leave you with this. This is the final paragraph from this Pro Football Focus article. Quote, LSU struck gold with Joe Brady and found a planet full of diamonds with Joe Burrow. Numerous individuals deserve their fair share of praise, but Burrow deserves it most. At the level that he is playing at, be prepared to hear head coach Ed Orgeron yell out, "Go Tigers," while hosting the College Football National Championship Trophy down in New Orleans on January 13th, 2020.